Hi friends, welcome to the Very Occasional Podcast with Morgan Quaid, now with absolutely no lead, so you can paint it on real nice without fear of licking the end result. This episode features the dynamic duo David Lujan, creator of Uriko, a historical vampire comic launched on Kickstarter, and Mark Bernal, owner of Lesser Known Comics. You can find more on the Uriko project by heading to Kickstarter and check out Lesser Known Comics at lesserknowncomics.com. Before we get to the show, don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast, because if I can get the channel to 500 subscribers, my sister is going to buy me a brand new hoverboard. Welcome to the Very Occasional Podcast with Morgan Quaid. I'm joined today by two guests. That's two for the price of one. We have David Lujan and we have Mark Bernal from Lesser Known Comics. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on this little chat show thing.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks. This is cool.
I've never ever called it a chat show, so I don't know where that came from. It's not a chat show. It's a podcast. We all know that. But anyway. So we might get right in then. We might start with you, David, around the project that you currently have running on the Kickstarter. It is called Uriko.
Uriko.
Yeah. Already, I've got it wrong. That's awesome. And it is a vampire story, a sort of historical vampire story. In my mind, it sits there as Lady Vampire samurai thing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the project, where it came from, and what sort of drew you to that genre or that story?
I had a friend who, off the cuff, suggested that I should write something or make some artwork that would depict a vampire and a werewolf banging each other, for lack of better terminology. And I was like, sure, why not? And I came up with a really crude drawing, and then from there I was like, well, how would we get to that point in time where these two mythical creatures would fall in love?
Make sweet love. Yeah,
there'd be a lot of howling involved, probably. So anyway, so I started writing a story, and it kind of progressed more and more and more, and then I started taking it seriously, and I wrote, I don't know, like 200-300 pages of prose.
Whoa.
So it's a bit of a tome. And then I was like, well, there's blank spots because it's a vampire and the story jumps around a lot. So I thought I could theoretically like supplement the blank spots with small graphic novels that would be like vignettes over time, and these characters would obviously develop in between each one. And that way, if you read the book, you would if you read the graphic novels as well, it wouldn't be just like a depiction of the book. You know what I mean? Because I always hate that when you get a book and you read it and it's awesome, and then you read the graphic novel and you're like, it's good. It's not as good as the book. I would have liked it a lot more if this wasn't the exact same story. So that's kind of where that came from.
So you've got a novel, which is the central idea. Is the title of the novel the same as the?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Cool.
Uriko.
Okay. Uriko. I keep going to go, Uriko.
Yeah.
Uriko.
I'm probably saying it wrong. I do not speak Korean, nor do I speak Japanese at all, or Chinese. No. A little bit of Chinese. I know some curse words in Chinese.
It's handy to know a few curse words in every language, just if you travel. You know, it helps.
Yeah.
Well, we might put it out there to our live viewers, of which there are none because it's not recorded live. Why don't you put something in the comments telling us how to pronounce this correctly if you are Korean or Japanese or have any familiarity with Uriko or Uriko? or Uriko. I don't know. You're probably not going to roll the R.
Yeah, I'll do one set in Spain or Italy, even better, and they'll all pronounce it like that. They'll roll the R real hard. It'll be great.
Cool. That'd be awesome. All right, so so you've got this foundational story, which I still think is amazing that it came from that one idea of two monsters mating, and then you've developed this sort of epic on the back of that, which is, I mean, that's where all great ideas come from. So you've got that story, and then you're building out graphic novels or small vignettes that are associated with the story, but like a side sort of episode or something like that. So they build on their story rather than retelling the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. You got
to give it a go. Give it a go. Who knows? Yeah. So tell us about the first graphic novel that's come out.
So this first one takes place in 1900 in Seoul. And it's happening right when they're starting. Japan was actually starting to build railways across Korea for the Trans-Siberian Railway was being built. And there was a lot of industrialization. It was right at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution for that area of the world. So the story takes place kind of. I wanted trains to be a central thing in there because every story is going to move to a different location. That's how this vampire has been able to travel with her familiars. She can ditch here and she can go somewhere else via train. There's two siblings, a brother and sister, who were twins that were separated at birth. They, in the novel, met each other once, and ever since then, the brother has been trying to find his sister because they didn't know that they were brother and sister. And he was like, "Who is this person that you're with?" And she's like, "No, you can't meet my mom. She's I'm not going to introduce you." Blah 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 blah. It's more complicated than that. Anyway. Comes to find out that his sister is basically being, what he says, held captive by a vampire, but she was actually raised by the vampire, so the vampire is sort of like her mom, which brings in all the stuff of like, oh, damn, I have to go fix mom's sink, you're kind of beholden to your mother character, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So but the stakes are a little bit higher since she's acting as a familiar, and she's, like luring people in to get eaten by her mom, essentially.
So you would say for a vampire mother, the stakes are higher?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was great, man. That was great. Keep those happening.
World class. Yeah.
The dad jokes are flying fast and furious.
So, David, back to the story, Uriko. So tell us a little bit. It's black and white interiors.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit more about the Kickstarter. Like, what's on offer? What's available? What can people purchase?
You can get in your hot little hands your very own copy of issue number 1, the seminal release of Uriko, a vampire's song. I have 4 variant covers on there that you can get if you like. You can get all 4. You should get all 4 because it'll make me feel good. Because I don't think I know how to draw very well, but other people seem to think that I do. You can also...
You can do. Trust me, I've seen it. You do. You know how to draw.
Only when I don't hit myself with a hammer at work, because I work construction, so I try not to cut fingers off. And...
Oh wow, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, but you can also level up on the Kickstarter and dive into the whole LKC catalog, because it's all up there. If you need back issues of Tights or Chiasm or any of the awesome issues that Mark has put out before. So I'm stoked to have all of the companion pieces that will just
Look at
enrich your
that.
life.
Mark,
So
he is just selling it like a star. That is perfect. Couldn't have gone any better. I'm gonna have a little segment right now that'll come up with lesser known comics, and I might put some awesome music on it. So the Kickstarter's going well. It's already funded. Tell us about, look a little ahead a little bit in the future. What's coming up next for the story? Is the novel out now? Is it coming out? Are you what's the order you're thinking you're going to release this to the world?
Well, I remodeled my neighbor's kitchen for him, and I mentioned that I was writing a novel, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, nothing to say."
That's all right. That's all right.
So he's a big he reads a lot. He's a big reader. So I said, "Well, would you look at it for me and, edit away?" So he's going through it right now, and like with a red pen, I was like, I want to see more red ink than black ink on the page. You know what I'm saying? Like really cut it to pieces. And then I'll say thanks but no thanks to most of your suggestions, and I'll keep it the way it was. But as soon as he's done with that, the plan is to record an audiobook version of it to then release the book with, because I have so many friends that are like lazy punkers and they don't want to read words on paper. Yeah. They're like, I'll listen to it while I'm at work, pretending to work, but no. So anyway, that's the plan with the novel. The next issue of Uriko is going to be set in Siberia, where she essentially flees because things got too hairy in Seoul, right? The brother who is kind of fallen into this vampire hunting business has followed her and caught up to her, and he's leveled up a little bit more, so he knows a little bit more. He's not just stumbling along. He's a little bit more prepared for what's going to happen. I get to draw reindeers. There's going to be Santa Claus. No, there's no Santa Claus, but
elves. Yes,
there's going to be
Siberian elves.
Yes, it's going to be so cool. Everybody's been wearing poofy clothing. I like poofy clothing. Yeah, my daughter was like, everybody's too naked, and I was like, what if it's in a cold climate? They could be wearing poofy jackets. She was like, I love poofy jackets. I'm like, okay, young kids like poofy clothes. Got it. All right,
poofy jackets it is.
Yeah, that's how that was formed. But that's the next evolution of what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, groovy. So for people that are out there, the campaign is running now. At the time that this goes live, it'll be a little bit before sort of halfway, I think. So get in and support. I'll put a link on the screen, like such and such, and or just search for the project and you'll find it. Get in there and back, support. It's a really cool project. I've backed it, which means it gets the Morgan Quaid Superior Approval Award thing.
Hi, I'm David. You're listening to the Very Occasional Podcast. Remember to like and subscribe, otherwise you won't survive the zombie apocalypse.
The worst pitch idea. So, David, you can have a think about it while I go to Mark, and let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Hey, there we go. All right. So, Mark, the worst pitch idea.
Yeah, it was Escape from Your Mom's Basement. And it's kind of like a weird science. It was this lonely incel has his anime body pillow, and he's like, I'm going to bring it to life. So it very much feels like campy 80s. She's terrified of what she is when she becomes sentient and is brought to life, that, oh my God, my purpose in life is to be this person's body pillow. And then it kind of turns into Misery, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I gotta escape, obviously, from your mom's basement is where he lives.
Nice.
And
I don't hate it so far. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'd read it. I would. I'd be like, all right, yeah.
It's
I get a lot of things like that where it's like, Mark, hang with me to the end.
Just
follow.
Pause. Yeah. Wow. There we go. That's going to be a hard one to top. And by top, I mean be worse than. But I think that's actually a good one. So this could be easy. All right. So my idea is it's going to start with tentacles. Which one could say all good ideas start with? Because I think I sneak a peek at a tattoo on your arm, which has a tentacle vibe. So me being the creative genius that I am, whatever I see, that's what it comes down to. An octopus in a lab, sci-fi sort of idea. Intelligence gets sort of built up into this creature, so it becomes basically a human trapped inside this octopus thing. And it's suckers won't suck, and that's it. It's a self-exploratory. I live to suck onto things, and I can't. They don't work. As part of the process, they don't work. Frankly, I think that is one of the dumbest things I've ever said, and I think that will be hard to beat. I don't know what the hell you could do with that. I don't think you could do much with it.
Inner cephalopod conflict there of I'm not even a human, I'm not even a cephalopod, because my definitive characteristic of I can't
Needless to say, the humans don't relate to him because he's not fully human. The cephalopods don't relate to him because he doesn't suck. And there's your title, Life Sucks, or your subtitle, whatever.
The village burns, set to the torch by wicked men in strange masks. He has no time for grief or sorrow. The blood of his kin calls out and must be answered.
All right, so David, we're over to you now for the worst pitch.
Well, okay, I would really like to base something on this short story that I read by a guy named Horacio Quiroga. Try and say that.
Horacio Quiroga.
No, yeah, it was close.
Quiroga. Quiroga. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, he's from South America. A novelist very similar to Edgar Allan Poe, and he had this short story, and I was like, man, this was such a good story. It was so it was real weird. This guy's going to like mend some of his fences. He's got some barbed wire. He's out in the country, and he's got like chickens and cows and things, and they busted through a spot, so he's going to fix it. And he walks out there. He's got his tools, and then he trips, and he kind of falls on the fence and cuts himself really badly. And he doesn't realize that he fell on one of his sharp implements. And then he just dies.
That's it. He just died.
It's not. I don't know how many.
It's like a workplace hazard story.
Yeah, I mean, it was written really well. I mean, the author just nailed it. I was like, that's so good. And I thought, man, I could draw that. It could be it would be like 2 pages. Like what? And then that would be it. Nope, you can't turn that into a. So
and he's just dead. That's a good one. That is it's a really good one as well, because the way you tell it, it's like something really cool is going to happen. Yeah, it's building. Nothing. Nope, just nothing.
I thought about changing it. I was like, I'll make it my own. Like this guy's working on his car, and he gets under there and he's like reaching up to. He's got his tools and stuff, and he's about to grab something from the bottom side of the engine, and he rolled under there, and then his jack stand fails and it just crushes him.
I just love. I love.
I would read that.
That's the end.
You know,
Yeah,
that's like the ultimate dad joke right there. Is to like, bring. You know, you describe the engine compartments. You describe everything about this shop. All the nuance.
I like the idea as well of you do it. So say it's a graphic novel. It's got 5 pages, but you still print the 50 blank pages after those 5.
That's
nothing
perfect.
in there. Yeah,
all the way through.
Turning around.
You could really do a collected edition. It's like short stories, like mini short stories, like really short ass stories. They're like a page.
I'm picturing just a selection of short stories, all with people dying on their own implements. They all end exactly the same way.
I know, it's so predictable.
Yeah. One of them's in space. One of them, they're on an alien colony. But in every one of them, it's a gardening implement that they get done in by.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was fantastic. Thanks, gents. That was very enjoyable. So kids, you can get online and vote on the internet, I guess, for what you think is the worst pitch, and send it to mail.whocares.someplace.com. Thank you. All right, so on with the next part of the show.
Not even a real email. There's no @ dude. Like, come on, man. These kids know you can't get it by them.
But it's not the internet. You don't need an @ You just we don't do the www anymore. What happened to that? Where did that go?
You just TikTok it on Twitch real quick, and then suddenly you're in some chat room. I don't know.
And that's all. Yeah, watch out. Keep your Discords even, kids. I know what's going on. I totally know what's going on. All right, we're going to go into some rapid fire questions. So this one's a quick one. I'll go to you first, Mark. Star Wars, Star Trek. You only have one choice. What do you pick?
Oh, Star Wars.
Everyone just goes to Star Wars. Very good. Excellent choice.
I have a friend who builds the animatronics on the Disney rides.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I discovered that last night, and I was like, how have we not been talking about this?
What?
Like, it's like the first thing you need to tell me in our friendship.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jeff, and I do this. Yeah.
No, like, I don't care about your name. Like, you tell me what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then just obviously I'll want to know that information.
Did he start out at Chuck E. Cheese with the creepy like teddy bears?
You have to work your way up. Yeah.
So creepy, especially when you see them without the skin on them. Have you ever seen those before? Damn.
I mean, I haven't gone looking, to be honest.
Well, you should on the internet.
They
got it
on the internet.
Yeah, it's a great comic, and then they just get squished.
www.internet.com. Okay, so David, over to you. Star Wars, Star Trek.
My mom is a Star Wars person, and all my uncles are Star Trek people. So if I said that I don't like Star Trek, my uncles would disown me. If I said that if I like Star Wars and if I don't like Star Wars, my mom's gonna disown me. So like it's kind of it's a point of contention. I like my mom more than I like my uncles. I'll say that much. Right. I do like the campiness of Star Trek more than I like what Star Wars has degenerated into.
Contention, people. Contention. Yes.
That's not, I didn't even get. I gave you a non-answer, and I realized this.
Well, that's phase 1. Phase 2 is all right. I'm just going to click the button now. Let me just. I was actually going to reach up to the screen. That's not how anything works, dude. Okay, so I'm going to click the button. All right. We're now in just secret private mode. Only the people that have access to the YouTubes and this channel will be able to see this bit. So but just between us three, what do you think? If you had to choose, and so you've already chosen your mother's side, let's say, but for you, what would you choose?
Man, it's gotta be the Shat, dude. I mean, Shatner. I'm saying he's such a player, dude. He's such a gangster, man. You know what I'm saying?
You are the first to legitimately choose Star Trek for yourself on this show. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not that I go one way or the other. Let me be clear. I'm equally happy with both.
Swing both ways.
Swing both ways when it comes to the Wars/Trek. Very good.
The best about Star Trek, though, is anytime they show up to a planet and it's Spock, Kirk, and Jeff from accounting, and you're like, "Oof, it's not looking good."
Yeah,
It's
Jeff's
not looking
out.
good for this.
He's done. Well, they spend
Definitely gonna die.
they used to do this on the other series as well. That they spend the first 5 minutes of the show introducing someone you don't know, and you think either in this show or the next one, you're gone. They're only letting us into a window into your life because they're going to destroy you pretty soon, and it's not going to be good. We're looking into the future, far, far future. The year is 2025. The world is unrecognizable. Skin has been completely made clean. There are no tattoos in the world anymore. Everyone has to get one tattoo and only one tattoo. What is that tattoo that you get, and where is it placed upon your body? I'll turn to you first, Mark. So everything you currently have is gone. You have to choose one and one alone.
Oh gosh. I'm actually contractually obligated right now to get a chiasm tattoo. That was part of the special rewards from chiasm. So it depends if I made it to Toronto by then.
Dang.
There you go. All right. So you are bound to your own company. You have to.
Yeah. He's a legally blind artist, and he's apparently tattooing me.
Yes.
Oh wow. Whereabouts?
I tattooed my 13-year-old little sister with this when they left me in charge. I was like babysitting her, and I was like, yo, what do you want to do? And she's like, I don't know, I'm bored. Like all 13-year-old girls say. I was like, dude, let's tattoo each other. Like stick poke, you know what I mean? Kind of ruined her a little bit.
All right, David. You've got one choice, one tattoo. What do you get? Where do you get it?
I would get a tattooed replica of Dennis Rodman's body on my body,
including all of his ink work. I'm guessing
all of his, everything, the whole thing. Like if you
overlay,
if you degloved his whole person and then just bathed me in it. Is that
is fantastic.
Acceptable? Is that acceptable?
I mean, it is a little bit like the genie 3 wishes. First wish, I have a gazillion wishes, please. It's a little bit like that. It's debatable whether it's one tattoo. I would say as long as
I'd have to get
connected.
Dennis Rodman's face would have to get tattooed over my face. I'll get Doug to do it, man. Yeah. Because win in Rome or win in Toronto. Wonderful.
All right, continuing on with the aptly named rapid fire questions. Not rapid fire answers, but that's cool. All right, so
sorry.
Which one of your, I'll go to Mark again, which one of your heroes would you least like to meet? Either because of fear of what might happen or because you think they might not be the greatest person to talk to. And I'm out of this one, by the way, so you can't say me. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I have to go with like any of those like medieval conquerors, like Hannibal.
The Hannibal.
Hannibal with the Hannibal with the elephants, the over
elephants
Carthage, right? Yeah. But just
hang on. So he's one of the ones you look up to that you would fear to meet. Like I'm talking about a hero. He's a hero of yours.
Anyone who's like, yes, we are going to take elephants
over the mountains.
Yeah. Over the mountains. Yeah. Like, yes, that's the way we're going to do this. That's a bananas idea. It's just not a bananas idea to come up with. It's a bananas idea to get an entire army to be like, yep. Because I was in the army. I was in the army for 17 years. And you can come up with an idea, but then you got to convince, a whole group of people that like, yeah, we're going to do this.
And it's going to work. Trust me with your life. It's going to be great. Trust me.
Yeah, it's fine. And they're basically tanks, but tanks with trunks and personalities and tanks that dump as well.
Yeah.
And have to be fed.
That poo is so valuable, dude. Like, I mean, for gardening. Yes.
Yeah.
You want that or tiger tiger droppings. Line up for that. Hell yeah.
I think he would just be so disappointed in the current state of manhood, given that's what his like idea of adventure. And I'd be like, yeah, one time I took a road trip with my friends, and
yeah,
it's not the same. So, I mean, mind you, you could get a 60-year-old to meet him and say, see this guy? He's been alive for 60 years. And he's not even the oldest one we've got.
He's not. He'd be blown away.
That would be pretty amazing. Like, what elixir of life did you use to live, twice as long as the rest of us? But yeah, I take your point. And you probably wouldn't want to meet him because he would he'd take one look at that tattoo and it'd be, curved for old Mark. All right, cool. So we have Hannibal.
Hello, my name is Mark Bernal, and if you can hear my voice right now, you are listening to the Very Occasional Podcast. Like, subscribe, and hit that little bell button for notifications, or we might have to sacrifice an indie comic creator.
David, who would you most not like to meet? One of your heroes?
Well, I have many people that I admire. I don't know about heroes, both musically and in the realm of comics and art and things like that. So I'm going to give you two. Sorry. First would be
that's right.
In the music realm would be Jan Tiersen. He's a composer, a French composer, and I'm pretty sure he's an asshole. And I love his music, and it's so like I listen to it while I'm riding my bike around, and I'm feeling like real like European. It's awesome. I don't know, so good.
Yeah.
But if I met him, he would definitely not be impressed with me as a person or my life or anything that I got going on, and I would be like, dang, you're not very nice. And the other would be in the comic realm. I was hugely influenced by Jim Lee when I was younger, and I bet you that dude would not like me very much. Probably because I'm so tall. That's a stereotype that you probably shouldn't reprint. But I just have a feeling that he's probably kind of not a very nice dude. He's all business. Like all the interviews I've read about him, he's like, no, you got to do it this way, and I put in my years and da 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 and blah 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 blah. I'm like, dang, you're pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Real loosey goosey, like anything goes. You know what I'm saying? So, but he is a big hero of mine in the comic book world and has been for years and years and years.
Now we get real deep. You thought that was hard. We get real deep. All right, Mark. One of the hardest fictional deaths you've had to deal with. It can be film. It can be, books, anything. And it can be from any time in your life. You could be when you were younger. So one of the hardest fictional deaths. Please don't say Bambi. Or Bambi's mother, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sorry for anybody who hasn't seen Sopranos. But
1998 called and said you should watch this.
So get on your shit. Yeah. Stuff.
It's all right.
Bobby Baclieri. When that guy, he's and he just wants to get that trained, and he's just so happy, and he's so low level, kind of doesn't really have, for him to get hit. It took me a couple days to recover from that. It really did. I was just like,
wow,
poor guy.
You were invested.
I was invested. He, because he put in his work. He just wanted to play with his trains and be left alone.
Yeah.
He had kind of a hostile wife. It's just, just poor guy. He found the one.
It's got to make you think as well that the writers of those sorts of shows, because they know what's going on. They know
what they're doing.
Yeah,
they know exactly what they're doing to you.
They're just sticking that hook right in and pulling you along, and then we're gonna kill him. We're gonna There you go.
You like HBO does that. It's just like anytime you like a character, oof, that's don't for this world.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Don't give your heart to those people. Yeah, they will. Yeah. All right, David. A fictional death that you found difficult to deal with.
I don't remember her name, but the little girl from Bridge to Terabithia, the book.
Oh,
you guys are obviously. not golfers.
Was that a movie as well, or?
I think they turned it into a movie way late in the game. Yeah, that didn't strike me the same. I mean, when I was like 8, and my mom was reading that book to both of us as my brother and I, when we were little kids, and that kid died, it destroyed me. I had to stay home from school for like 2 days. I couldn't go to school.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
I'm a
impressive.
big old softy, dude. Whew.
Yeah,
I'm about to tear up right now. Can't handle it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on before I start crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. We've all lost fictional people. Okay, so many fictional people, and we will lose more in the future. Okay, Mark, you're allowed to pass one toy from your childhood onto your kids, and only one toy. What is that toy?
Cool. Gosh. Well, to me, I like with what came right to me is just my like I still have my action figure collection of X-Men and Ninja Turtles, and I'm just really hoping that my daughters are into it in some way. But I guess I need to explain to them, like, either my Wolverine with the retractable claws or my Cyclops with the light up. I was like, you got to understand how big of a deal this was when I got this.
Yeah,
he's like, the claws come out? Are you kidding me?
I'm sure when it comes to that moment in time, your girls will be, looking at that thinking, yes, I'm just as impressed as you were, Dad, when this came out.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's
so
very
cool
hard when they're not like, but you don't understand.
Yeah,
this was amazing.
Yeah,
but we have.
Where's the button?
Stuff. Yeah.
Where's the battery enabled? Where does the battery go? I don't see the speaker or anything. What's going on?
Does it have AI? Can it communicate?
Yeah.
Can it form new languages? Yeah. Well,
hey Google,
okay,
how do you?
choice.
No, Google, stop.
More relevant results.
Shut up! Stop! Hey Google, stop!
Why David figures this out? This is. I used to be so mystified as to why they were so rude to C-3PO in Star Wars, until like Google and Siri and all that stuff came into my life, and I find myself screaming at it, just like at the top, and I'm just like, yes,
yeah.
Like, could you imagine if Google was a standing robot in your house? Like, how many things you would throw at it? Like,
it would
go outside.
Always listening, always offering an opinion, a helpful opinion. Yeah, you
I see what you're doing there, though, Mark. You like sliding in the Star Wars. You trying to bring me over to the dark side from being a Trekkie.
Right. They're a rebellion, and they're given a protocol droid. What use do you have for a protocol droid when you're running a rebellion? It's brilliant.
Yeah. I will say something last night that hit me as I was watching Voyager. I kid you not. Was I don't know. I've watched so much of this stuff, and I don't know why it dawned on me then, but I just thought, they don't have robots in Star Trek. Why do they not have robots? It's just not a thing. I mean, there are a few occasions with it, but it's not. Yeah. They're just not integrated into part of life. I mean, they also treat like tablets as though you can only have one book on them. So you got to let me give you this book and this book and this book. They kind of didn't foresee you could have multiple things on one tablet. But yeah, robots, they're just not there. No robots in the Star Trek-ish, sort of.
Don't quote us on that.
Don't quote us, no. But do like, subscribe, and retweet from YouTube at any chance that you get. David, so your toy that you would pass on to future generations.
Oh, that's easy. So easy. My battle armor He-Man with the squishy head, who had to be chipped from a giant block of ice that I put in the freezer of my mom's fridge, ergo losing his left leg from the knee down.
Oh no, He-Man the Survivor. Why?
Yeah.
Why the freezer? Was that part of the
Oh,
mythology in
it
your
was the
house?
whole. Yeah, like half of them got frozen. There was a massive like ice age that came through and froze everybody. And then there was only
Wow.
one survivor, and you know who it was? It was Jitsu, of course, because he's
Oh,
awesome. And
yeah.
he proceeded to chip everybody out of the ice. And this is like I took a 5 gallon bucket, paint bucket, filled it with all my toys and all the ice. My brother and I both threw it in the freezer, pulled it out several days later, and we started chipping them out of the ice. But we didn't realize that it was going to take arms and legs with it. So that just added
Yeah.
to the
Yeah. The
when Captain
drama.
America thawed, he could have easily lost an arm. Like they don't talk about that because that's what
No.
happens. But yeah, the battle armor He-Man, his little like thingamy, you pull it down and it would reset, and then if you hit him with a sword, it would go ka-ching, and it would have all these cuts on it and all that kind of stuff. And the plastic, it was spring loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
that
pretty
was
cool. And
yeah.
he comes with ice damage.
Yeah,
Which is
and we took my mom's nail polish and painted blood all over him and stuff. Like his blood, his nub was all red and gross looking. She's like, "Where is my red nail polish?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about."
So it's a collector's edition then.
Absolutely, yeah.
You could
I don't have it anymore. My mom gave away all my He-Man toys.
there's some kid out there with this mangled
Kid.
He-Man thinking, what happened to his leg?
Yeah,
What's the story?
toss it. This one's broken. They threw it away. Yeah, probably.
See, they need to do a version of toys, or the Toy Story,
Yes.
with that sort of horrendous journey in there.
Thank you for saying this out loud with your mouth. I've been.
Yep. You've been thinking it, saying it for years. Yep, they got to.
Yeah.
They got to. Serious drama. He's stuck in a freezer for years, and then he gets out. He gets his leg chipped off. He gets painted wounds and all that sort of stuff. Then years later, he gets handed to some other kid who sticks him in a sand pit, which is the desert equivalent, for years and years, and he's just sort of having to survive by stacking together old cat turds into a makeshift hut and stuff. So much you could do with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good idea. That one.
Comic book idea.
Yeah.
It makes me think like Doc McStuffins. Like I think that show would be great if she was just so jaded. She's just a shadow of the girl she used to be after seeing like patient after patient come in, and some people just coming in. She has to like deliver some really heavy news to some stuffed animals. That would be a great show.
Yeah.
It's like, hey kids, it doesn't work out sometimes.
Yeah. Life is not, all sunshine and rainbows and all that sort of stuff.
No, sometimes Bing Bong dies.
That's right. All right, so let's go back to the project and I suppose lesser known comics as a whole. So, Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about lesser known comics, what it is, how people can get involved, where the idea came from for this enterprise. Yes. Juggernaut. Go for
Waking
it.
Nightmare.
Up to you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying words. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should say waking nightmare.
During quarantine, I accidentally started a comic book company, and my wife agreed to a comic book. She's like, "Oh, that would be a good way for you to spend time." So I started with 3 concept artists. I was going to pick one of them to do my book, and I fell in love with all 3 of them. So I was like, we're making 3 books now. Started posting that stuff to Instagram as they worked out. People started approaching, saying, hey, would you help me publish my book? And I'm like, sure, why not? I'm like picking up hitchhikers, just like an idiot. How hard could this be? You got the best of it, because it wasn't a smooth ride at the beginning. Next thing I know, my wife comes in the office and I'm on a conference call with like 14 people. And she's like, did you start a company? Be honest with me.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's not the worst.
What about you? Did you start a company?
Now we've kind of morphed into this like incubator model where we are, we want to be the AAA team where you come, you have your, rookie season, and you go get discovered by somebody else, and we have a really easy clause to just, like fly away, little birdie. We actually have one of our creative teams. I'm not allowed to say which publisher, but got picked up by a very good publisher.
Wow,
it's one of those things where it's like, seeing one of your hot ex-girlfriends, get married. You're like, I'm really happy for you, but now sex is completely off the table. And, but that's what we want to do, right? Because the more that comes out, the more people who have these really good books like David, that's like, I have this thing, what next? What we really specialize is in just getting that initial Kickstarter, getting them ready for conventions, getting them ready to be at that place where they can shop to a publisher who has more resources to take them on the next step, the journey. And that's and then just like the AAAs, when David drinks too much and he's like lost his stride, you can come back and keep doing book directs,
Never.
Berate the new people, be like, when I was your age,
Or like I'll just accidentally cut some fingers off, and then I have to draw with my left hand. I'm like, hey, it's the same me, but I draw real crappy now. Is that cool?
It's all crayons. Everything you do is crayons.
I have to draw with my feet because both my hands I fell on an implement, and I was trying to go,
watch those implements.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great. It's a really unique and good model. I mean, shout out to you, Mark, because it's a hell of a lot of work as well, and I can see the stress resting on your shoulders. That's not a shoulder, by the way. Shoulders is there. I do know where shoulders are. I was just being a bit, gesturing and such. It's a hell of a lot of work, but it is. It's a hard path as a new creator to get the thing out there, get known, figure out what are the ins and outs of the whole industry and all that sort of stuff. Particularly as an indie, there's a lot of you could do it my way, which is let's make all the dumb mistakes in a row and clump them on top of each other. I'll give you an example. One of my biggest mistakes. You're based in Australia. Let's set a Kickstarter campaign up. Let's print the books in the US, ship them to Australia, and then, for the most part, send them back to backers in the US. Yeah. Genius. I don't want to make any money. Why would you want to make money? Yeah. That's, I want to spend money. It is a really cool thing for indies to come up and sort of have, be shepherded through that process. It's really, really cool, but a lot of work.
I feel like I got this buddy who does HVAC repair for commercial kitchens. And I was talking to him, and he said, it's great, man. He's a real big stoner. And he's like, I just go there and they tell me their problem. And I'm like, yeah, I have everything you need in the car. And he's like, I go get it. I fix their stuff. They give me some food and they give me money. It's the best job in the world. And I feel that way, like about comics, right? Where it's like Dave's like, hey, I'm trying to launch this book. And I was like, hey, I have the things you need. And I'm going to get some comic books out of it. Like it's, that's the and the cool thing about that campaign is, he's selling LKC books, not just my books, but like the other people on the team, like those top tiers. And it's a cool text message to tell somebody to be like, hey, David just sold 5 of your books today. They're like, what? The new guy?
Yeah.
The rookie? Loser? Who does he think he is? Well, I mean, honestly, coming into this whole thing, I've been, since the pandemic really started, I launched into my other comic endeavor. Uriko, the whole vampire thing is a break for me from my main comic, which is Narita, about a mermaid. And I was just like working, I figured out how I wanted to lay things out and how to script a comic and then how to illustrate it efficiently and do all the stuff. And I thought to myself, well, if I have all the parts like ready to go, the comic's done, the Kickstarter's built, I've got a little bit of a fan base on social media. I hide my face as much as I can from cameras so no one gets scared away. Like, I'm not gonna like that. then I can approach somebody like Mark and say what I said was like, hey, you should put out my comic. That's literally the message that I initially sent to them. It was dumb. I was like, this is a shot in the dark. They're going to laugh. And they're going to be like, no, thanks. But I figured if I set everything up where it's all teed up and all he has to do is just swing out of the park. That was my thought process on it. So
that's a good move.
And there's tons of things that Mark has schooled me on and things that have happened in the interim, like this podcast. I didn't know that podcasts were a thing.
Apparently they are. And apparently now, after the pandemic, when people are back at work and don't have as much free time, now is the perfect time to launch a new podcast, such as the Very Occasional Podcast, which has run weekly for the last 3 weeks, and which is not very occasional at all at the moment. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, podcasts are a thing. They are they're here to stay. I guarantee they're going to be so popular. Like and subscribe and retweet, people.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we actually started one called I don't know S about comics. And then now, like, you know, it's an inaccurate the amount of stuff. Like, not only
now you know.
Like, not just comics, the graphic design, the printing, paperweights, about the mailing, about you know, like the retractable banners you get for conventions, you know, like luckily that's going to be applicable for, you know, other walks of life, you know.
Absolutely. Like, you know, fixing your car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, comic creators and publishers I mean, we can do anything. It's you know, the skill set is directly transferable to other areas of life. Yeah, absolutely. The zombie apocalypse happens, I'm sweet. I can write stuff.
I actually do own a Mercedes 300D with a 79 engine and an 85 body that can run on blood.
Nice.
It can run on anything oily. I ran out of gas, and a friend of mine was like, "You got some transmission fluid in the trunk?" I'm like, "I do." And he was like, "Pour it in there, man. She'll start up." She did, and she got me home. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you didn't know your car, man. It's like top 3 on the top 10 list of things you need to survive the zombie apocalypse." And I'm like, "This Bubba knows his stuff." And I looked it up. Sure enough, my car is listed. It's like, you need an axe, you need a crossbow, and you need a Mercedes 300D that can run on blood. Like, yeah.
There you go.
So anyway,
I suppose there is the question of how to get the blood into the engine. You know,
well, you know,
squeezing of the
funnels and that sort of thing. Yeah, you'd have to filter it because you don't want the gook to get in there. But that's cool, man. I'm good at filtering stuff.
Sweet. You heard it here first, people. David is good at filtering stuff. Another skill that you wouldn't think we would have, but we have it. Well, thank you, David and Mark, for joining me on this first 3 people podcast. It's been a pleasure having you. All the best with the Kickstarter campaign and lesser known comics in general. Folks, get out there and support the campaign and lesser comics, and go and buy yourself an indie comic today. Do yourself a favor. See you later. All right, I'll just say for the record, I got it wrong on the first letter. So, you know. Well done, Morgan. Well done. All right. So
I'm throwing you curveballs and you just can't pronounce. Just get yourself a trophy or something.
Okay, I will. Another one, so I can say multi-award winning.
Internationally known, multi-award winning.
Even better than known, internationally renowned. Just the other day, someone was renounding me, so, you know, and they were overseas, so technically I'm internationally renowned.
Yeah.
How come there are so many episodes where there are transporter accidents then? Tell me that. Where's the WHS team on Star Trek? Anyway, we'll move on. So don't feel like you have to suggest a real one and bury some hopeful indie creator. So that's happening, is it?
That's happening. Oh, you should have seen my wife's face. Yeah.
Please, I'm sure.
Getting a tattoo. She was like, "Makes sense. This tracks."
Is that a Mustang or is that a Jaguar behind you?
It is a cheap knockoff. Oh, that's scary and frightful.